Break this whole thing up here. Was it for me?
I took it off.
If I give her the day off.
It's starting to get cold up there.
If we could call the meeting to order.
Tucker Whitman.
Here.
Andrew Dennison.
Present.
Benjamin Vitale.
Here.
Grant Kyle.
Here.
Paul Pinkney.
Present.
Aline McNabb Coleman.
Present.
Joseph DeForest.
Present.
Terrence Baxter.
Aye.
Joseph Bennett is excused. Frank Reginelli is excused. And Patrick Mahonik.
Here.
Timothy Lattimore.
Here.
Michael Didio.
Here.
Ryan Foley.
Here.
And Keith Batman.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Why didn't you fix his collar?
Doesn't matter.
Well, let me start with the introductions. This is Claire Raymond. Claire's a senior at Southern Cayuga. She plans on attending college at an undisclosed location, and I don't think it's undisclosed as a secret. I think it's just undecided at this point. I think when she knows, she will let her parents and other people know. She plans to major in either hotel management or business or related field. So we welcome her. She's also a swimmer of some notoriety. So welcome, Claire. Mr. Whitman?
I'm here with Gabe from Cato Meridian. He's a senior. He's in our New Visions program. He's interested in a career in either medical or law. Enjoys playing soccer as well.
Mr. Denson?
I've got Nicholas Schmidt from Cato Meridian. He plays on the football team. He's looking to go to St. John Fisher College for political science major and then law school or the United States Naval Academy.
Mr. Vitale?
With me, I have Allison Ryan from Fort Byron Central School. She's a New Visions student at the MOCES in the medical area. Allison is a field hockey player, looking to probably go to Brockport next year for nursing and play on their field hockey team as well. Allison is probably one of the most outstanding students at Fort Byron, along with about 15,000 others. But we're very happy to have her with us today.
Mr. Kyle.
I'm here with Macaulay Polanco. He's from Weedsport Central Schools. He's very strong, very good swimmer. I've been watching him in papers for a long time. He's looking to go to the Naval Academy, and he's looking to do nuclear physics and mathematics. He's really an underachiever, and we're happy to have him here.
Mr. Pinckney.
With me, I have Gwendolyn Leaf, a senior at Union Springs High School, heading towards Geneseo for college with a major undecided. She's a member of the National Honor Society. I want to thank Lloyd for putting her next to me, helped me make it a little brighter, but I wish her well in her endeavors.
Ms. McGee.
Today I have Nathan McKay from Union Springs joining me today. Nathan is going to begin his college career at CCC. He hopes to major in political science and government. He currently is involved with hockey and school musicals in his school.
Mr. Porras.
This is Michael Redmond. He's a student at Southern Cayuga, my alma mater. And he's a senior. He's involved with the drama club and chorus. He's hoping to continue his education from music composition. His instrument is voice. And he's looking at Crane School at Potsdam, Fredonia, Hamilton, or OCC.
Thank you. Mr. Baxter.
Yes, I'm here today with Madeline Funk, Moravia High School. She's part of the New Visions program. She's a senior. She will be attending Nazareth College to study biology.
Thank you.
I'd like to say anybody that's considering the Naval Academy, take everything else off their list. That's the only real choice.
Mr. Mahoney.
Today I have Mike Hamilton with me from the Auburn High School. He is a wrestler and football player, looking to go to school for business and accounting. Looking at the University of Albany, possibly Syracuse, so we wish him well, and hopefully wrestling season is going to be just as good or better than football season.
Mr. Lattimore.
I've got Parker Hogan with me today, Your Honor, and he's golf, wrestling, football, and lacrosse. And he hopes to go to the Naval Academy. According to Mr. Baxter's endorsement, that's the only school, so he's going to head there. He comes from the great Hogan family.
Mr.
And
Didio.
golf, right?
Mr. Didio.
I didn't hear him say aye. He's out. We have Mitch Hulick. Born in Auburn? Mitch?
Yes, sir.
Born in Auburn. Yeah, attended the Auburn schools, senior at Auburn High School, and he participated and starred in, I asked him if he played football, varsity football for 3 years, and I asked him if he was a good student. He said, kind of. What's your average, Mitch?
Mid-80s.
Mid-80s, kind of. Well, I was mid-90s, but that's okay. Mitch is planning on attending ESF, SUNY ESF, and one of my favorite subjects, biochemistry. And we wish him all, he's going to take care of a lot of business here today. We're not going to do any bio stuff, but we're going to take care of what we need to take care of. Nice to have you.
Mr. Foley.
Mr. Chairman, I have Carly Harris. She is a senior at Auburn High School. She is a soccer player. She wants to attend either Albany or Binghamton College as a pre-med student. She also mentioned Excelsior Scholarship, which I was pleased to hear. and her favorite board game is Dungeons and Dragons.
That's not even close to true.
Wow! I was taking a shot in the dark, but she's very intelligent and one of Auburn's best soccer players. There you go.
Ms. Smith?
I have David Coyle with me. He's from Weedsport High School. He's planning to go to college in Ireland and hopes again to visit Scotland because he's already been there and really likes it. He's a really big overachiever, very technical, knows all the little doodads on all the phones. And I wish him the best.
Mr. Westphal?
Good morning. With me today, I have Thomas Klink and Janice Rang. They both attend Auburn High School. They're both seniors. They're both looking forward to college and working, and they're both glad to be here. And they will answer any questions that you have. Please generate some questions for yourself. Thank you.
Thank you all and welcome.
All right, so I'd like to ask to come forward along with Lloyd Hoskins and the sheriff.
Mr. Gardinsky, Myers, Lazinski, and Lucarelli.
Okay. All right, so this one is for Joseph Lucarelli, and it's a dedicated New York State Trooper. The Cayuga County Stop DWI program was enacted by the state legislature in 1981 for the purpose of empowering and coordinating local efforts to reduce alcohol and other drug-related traffic crashes within the context of a comprehensive and financially self-sustaining statewide alcohol and highway safety program. And the Cayuga County Stop DWI program has recorded a total of 236 DWI arrests for 2016, and Trooper Joseph Lucarelli of New York State Police has effected 11 DWI arrests for 2016. So we have Brian Myers, who is the dedicated Cayuga County Sheriff's Deputy. The Cayuga County Stop DWI program was enacted by the state legislature in 1981 for the purpose of empowering and coordinating local officials and coordinating local efforts to reduce alcohol and other drug-related traffic crashes within the context of a comprehensive and financially self-sustaining statewide alcohol and highway safety program. Justin Lazinski, thank you. Deputy Justin Lazinski of Cayuga County Sheriff's Department has effected 7 DWI arrests for 2016. And he has dedicated the Cayuga County Sheriff's Deputy for 9.5 years. So thank you for your service. And last but not least, we have Andrew Skardinsky. He is an officer of the Auburn Police Department, and he has effected 10 DWI arrests for 2016, and he has dedicated the Auburn Police Office for 22 years.
Thank you.
Just say domestic violence awareness, there's going to be
The Domestic Violence Awareness Month in Cayuga County has already been presented.
Very good.
So, at this point in our agenda, there's an opportunity for the public to be heard. Do any legislators have anyone they would like to recognize? Mr. Lattimore?
I'm going to recognize myself. I already gave the clerk 2 items. The Save the IAGT and the handout that I gave the editorial board and the citizens. So I'd like to have those in the minutes.
Very good.
We do have a NASA platform that I think is underutilized, and Student Day here at the, at the ledge. I think it's very important that we make sure that these things are here so these kids can learn and have higher education in this field.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else that would like to recognize? Is there anyone here that maybe didn't have the opportunity to speak with their representative but would like a few minutes before us? Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Minutes for approval, September 26, 2017.
I'd like to ask for a motion to dispense with a reading of the minutes.
Move them.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And Dr. Kraft.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Always wonderful to see our young people here at this event. I think it's a wonderful tradition that the county does. I was told it was 35-plus years or so, so it's truly remarkable. And it's nice to be able to hear all the colleges that you're considering, and certainly your aspirations and academic programs that you have. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't start off by saying that on November 4th, at Cayuga Community College, we'll be having our fall open house. And certainly encourage those of you that are interested to come explore what we're offering and how we may be able to be a match for your goals on the Auburn campus. I'd also like to take a moment and just recognize one of our trustees that made the time today to be here, John Camardo. Thank you for being here with us today. Really over the last month or so, we've been focused on kind of getting our start to our fall semester. As I mentioned in the September meeting, we were on pace to hit our enrollment goals for this particular year. We've done so. We are actually up in new students. As our census data cleans itself out, we'll be able to report the percentage that we are up, but we are up in new students this year. It's the first year in, I think, 5 or 6 that the college is actually on pace to be level from one year to the next and likely to actually be slightly up. So we're seeing some positive results over our increased marketing efforts and communication with our students and trying to really get our message out about our commitment to really individual goals of our citizens and really their educational pathways, both to work and certainly to transfer. A number of years ago, some of you may be aware that our foundation established something at the college called the Presidential Scholarship Program. And the Presidential Scholarship Program is open to students from our community who graduate in the top 20% of their class. And those students who graduate, some of you, who graduate would be eligible for a presidential scholarship of a full tuition at the college. And that's something that we have seen to really pay great dividends to, not only to us, but more importantly to the individual recipients for the last 3 years. This summer, our foundation decided to make that particular scholarship program more of a permanent fixture of our offerings when it comes to our scholarships. In this past month, we've been able to build upon that with a 4-year partner in, I think, an exceptional way. We're very fortunate in this community to not only have Cayuga Community College, but also to have Wells College within our county as well. And they have a presidential scholar program. So earlier this month, we were able to announce an agreement between the 2 institutions of a presidential scholar program that says if you're a student who is awarded a presidential scholarship at Cayuga Community College, graduate, and then choose to transfer to Wells College, you'll be eligible to receive one of their highest academic scholarships for their institution. So it's an example of how a vision of a 4-year degree may be able to start with financial assistance at your local community college and still result in you being able to graduate with a 4-year degree on time and certainly reaching your goals. So that's a tremendous opportunity for us to demonstrate our commitment to each other, our commitment to the region, and ultimately to be able to make sure that access to affordable higher education beyond the associates is there regionally as well. So we're very, very fortunate for that. Also, in the spirit of affordability, we've recently been looking at our fall enrollment, and we do have over 85 individuals who are recipients of the Excelsior Scholarship Program. Many of you may be aware of the program that the governor announced early in January, and then ultimately was approved in the executive budget for tuition scholarships for our citizens. At Cayuga Community College, it resulted in over 85 students being awarded. There were more students that were eligible, of course, but those students had already had their need-based aid, if you will, cover the cost for tuition. So there wasn't any remaining dollars necessarily to be covered by scholarship. So it's another example of how programs that can emerge both in scholarships in our foundation side and certainly through government support that can result in students getting the financial assistance that they may need to be able to enroll and pursue their goals. Also, what we've been working on recently is furthering agreements with other 4-year schools, making it clear that there are other possibilities for seamless transfer and articulation. Currently, we're working with Lemoyne College and also exploring with SUNY Canton some possibilities that align some of our programs to make sure that the articulation is there for smooth transfer for our students. And from we're working through the early stages of our audit and our financial review from 16-17. As you know, we begin our new fiscal year already, coming 1st of September, and we are on pace to be able to add about $1.5 million to our fund balance this year, which ultimately is going to result in us being able to further stabilize, meet our creditors' recommendation for financial stability and for our fund balance, and ultimately, we've been able to put together a couple of years now of creating benchmarks in our budget based on enrollment projections and hitting or exceeding those targets. So we feel like we're as stable as we can be in a market where there's increased competition for colleges and certainly decrease in demographics and enrollment. But ultimately, we feel like we're in the best position we can now to be able to continue to be responsive with our 4-year partners and looking at new academic programs that align with your interests that can ultimately serve well for our future. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. That concludes my formal report.
Are there any questions?
One.
Mr. Dennison?
Yeah, the whole free tuition thing being it's new, just out of curiosity, for those 85 kids, where does the money come from and how timely is the college getting?
Well, we're still working through the process of when it gets received. So how it works fundamentally at the college is once we know, for any aid program, okay, once a student has been verified that they're going to receive aid, the dollars that come in, whether it be from federal government, from state, or so forth, it naturally is a lag, but it's been pledged against it. It's been accepted by the student, and ultimately we just measure out when they come in. So typically we'll get one check, about this week. We'll get another check in maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then from there, from a cash flow perspective, we're not concerned. We're used to that in the particular business itself.
It goes directly to the college.
It goes directly to the college. Exactly. They verify the accepted students. We verify the amounts, and then they send us the check directly.
Mr. Lattimore?
My ongoing Save the IAGT, the Nassau program that they have, it's a platform that, studying weather, or lake levels, it is a research platform that I just don't understand it. But anyways, if we can do anything on your level, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll just comment again, just to reiterate, as college president and for college academic programs, we have programs in place. Environmental science is a new program that we're waiting final approval on to be able to roll out and offer our students. We have our liberal arts math science degree, which sends up pathways for people that are interested in those issues. And we certainly are conscious in our community here about about the environmental conditions and issues and having academic programs. And we're equipped to be able to create those there. We also have the GIS program that stands alone by itself. As the entity of IAGT, as I've said before, which is separate from the college, although I happen to be the president of that particular board, that board continues to do its due diligence to look in what its future is. The main focus of that board right now is to manage an important grant that we received by the state to look at water quality. And that continues to be the main effort of that goal as they're trying to look at other opportunities. I'm sure as representative of that board, as more future opportunities emerge, we'll be able to talk about what those are and provide any clarity.
Well, I mean, the new,
Mr. Lattimore?
Yes, sir.
Let's, Mr. Didio, I think, had a question. I think the president's answer addressed the question.
okay.
Thank
Mr. Didio?
Doctor, last month I brought up a question regarding student housing.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't carry it one step beyond for just baseball and 25 people.
Right.
And 25 players. It was for every sport and every student that attends. And to me, anyway, student housing would be at the top of the list. And to me, what I heard was that you wouldn't entertain that particular 25 people. It's not necessary at this time.
Right.
So is there a time when we can discuss that?
Absolutely. Again, and hopefully my comments last month related to your question of student housing, my comments were not specifically directed to the impact of baseball or not. I mean, I know that they paralleled each other, they were connected. That wasn't exactly my intent when I answered. I apologize for any confusion with
Well,
that.
it's quite crowded in that room, so it's.
Right, yeah.
Some of the
Right.
vibes didn't.
So, working with our trustees, over the last couple of years, when I arrived in the campus, I reviewed the most recent study of interest for student housing. And the most recent study of interest came back and said something to the effect of somewhere between 90 and 170 students. I'm close, not exact. Would be a viable number to build student housing for. What I did in my first year here, I established an internal task force, not to answer the question, should we build, because that question is not something that needed to be explored. The question was, what impacts would having student housing make on our campus? Because I can tell you from my experience as someone who was able to build student housing at a previous institution and go from a commuter to a residential campus, what's most important to whether or not you build housing, well, one, is there real interest? But two, are you equipped to meet the other needs, demands, and expectations of students in a residential community? And I can tell you, when we had that internal group, they went out to other community colleges that have student housing. And they said, what would you consider? What would be needed? Well, public safety. You need to go from a campus, you need to have 24/7 public safety. You need to be adequately staffed. You need to make sure you have recreation. You need to be able to make sure you have appropriate food service. You need to make sure you have appropriate student life. You need to make sure that you have the right mental health and other support and campus programming and wellness programming in place. And what I've told our campus community, what I told our board, what I will tell you, in the event that I believe that we're positioned well, both from a need, which means Cayuga Community College needs to continue to be a destination for higher education beyond our community and with our community, and until we know that we're fully equipped financially to be able to support all of those other endeavors, to do it right, to make a promise to a parent who's going to drop off their son or daughter or a supporter on our campus, there's no point in going down into student housing yet. I think student housing can very well be in our future. I just don't think it's right now. We need to make our facility upgrades. We need to modernize our facilities. We need to make sure that we can have our recreation and athletic programs up to full swing, build upon our reputation of high quality, and by doing so, we will be able to become an even greater destination. That need interest will go up, and then student housing will not only be a viable option, it will be a necessity. So I just urge public patience when it comes to the right timing for it, and trust that we just want to take our steps with you and with our trustees to make sure that we do it the right way at the right time.
Thank you.
Mr. Webb?
I agree with the doctor. I think this is something we definitely want to make sure the horse isn't